Hi, boys and girls. Mr. D here. I hope you had a great spring break. I sure did. Um, anyway, welcome back to school. So we're finishing off the rest of this year here. So welcome back. Now, at the end of this video lesson, you should be able to subtract across zeros. Okay, in last week's video, Miss McCarthy showed you how to use the algorithm to subtract, which is a little that's more commonly well known throughout for people to subtract. And I'm going to use the same thing, the same algorithm, but I'm going to show you how to use it across zeros. I'm going to share my camera with you, and we'll do a practice subtraction algorithm together. Okay, so right here we have this equation: 475 minus 83 equals, we don't know yet. Okay, and so right here Ms. McCarthy showed you how to make an algorithm with it, the hundreds, tens, and ones. And so what we had earlier was 475 minus 83. You want to make sure that your numbers line up. Your hundreds line up, your tens, and your ones. You want to make sure that happens, because to use the algorithm correctly, your numbers need to line up, or else you're subtracting the wrong place value. Okay, so right here, let's go ahead and subtract our ones first. 5 minus 3 is, that's right, it's 2. Now 7 minus 8, we cannot do that. I have 7, this is my 7 fingers. I cannot subtract 8 from it. So what we got to do, and Miss McCarthy showed this to you last week, you have to break down hundreds. Okay, so right now we have 4 hundreds here. We're going to break that down. We're going to take away one of the 100, make that a 3. And as you all know, there are 10 tens in 100. So we took out one of these hundreds, and I'm going to add that 10 to the 7 that is already here. 10 plus 7 is 17. Okay, so that's that breakdown. If you want to actually take out your place value blocks and do that, you can see how we broke. You can take apart 100s and then into tens and add that 10 to the existing tens, which was 7 of them. You got 17. Now we can do 17 take away 8, which is, that's right, it's 9. And then we have 300s here. There's nothing to take away from the 300, so we're going to bring that down. Our answer is 392. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of borrowing, what we call borrowing. Some people call borrowing, or regrouping. It's the same thing. Okay, regrouping is better because when you borrow, you give something back. But here we're not giving it back. We took hundreds and moved it over to the tens. We're not going to give it back to the hundreds. So we're not really borrowing. I think that's a term a lot of people use still. Okay, here's another equation. 406 minus 83. Now what we have to do is rewrite this equation into an algorithm. And I'm going to go ahead and do that here. 406 minus 83. Now it's important that I line them up again. If you need to make yourself an H for hundreds and the tens and an O for ones, if you need to help, and then you can draw the grid also. That might help you. Okay, so minus 83, 8 tens, and 3 ones. Okay, let's go ahead and subtract. 6 take away, we always start in the ones. 6 take away 3 is 3. Okay, now this 0 take away 8, I cannot do that. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to regroup. I'm going to take away from this hundreds. These 4 hundreds will become 3, and then and there are 10 tens in 100. So we're going to add those 10 tens to the 0 tens, which makes this a 10, because 10 plus 0 is 10. And now we could continue subtracting with 10 minus 8 is 2, and 3 minus nothing is just 3. So our answer is 323. All right. Now in your math packet, your teacher should have given you some pages on if you're going to look at 9.6, there's a raccoon here, and he's doing the same method of regrouping. Okay, even he says regroup. Okay, this one 580 minus 126. Okay, so what happened was this person went shopping. They bought 2 sets of speakers for 126, which is kind of a deal. And so they want to know how much do they have left in their wallet. So they had started with 580. You always start with a greater number on top, and then you subtract 126. Now, what they had to do here, the raccoon here, this 0 minus 6 he could not do, so he had to regroup in the tens. You always go to the next column. So notice that from the zeros here and the ones, they did not jump to the hundred. They jumped right next door to the tens column and took out a 7 there. Okay. And then continued subtracting. So 10 minus 6 is 4. And then 7 minus 2 is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. 454 is left over. Okay. And they did the same thing here, 306. And here's an original Game Boy, old school, $306 in their wallet. They spent 182, 306 minus 182. Okay, 6 minus 2, we can do that. That is 4, but 0 minus 8, you cannot do. And so they had to turn this, the 10 or the hundreds, take 3, take 1 from the 3 that made it 200s, and then brought those 10 tens over to here. 10 plus 0 is 10. 10 minus 8 we can do. It's 2, and then 2 minus 1 is 1. So this person still has a lot of money left over. Okay. Now, here's also subtracting with zeros, but this time the 0 is on the bottom part of your algorithm. So it's a little easier. This raccoon says I can easily take 0 ones from 5 ones. I don't need to change any digits at all. Let's see if that's true. 5 minus 0 is 5. Yep, you're not need to change. And 7 minus 6 is 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. So still have some leftover money. I don't know what that is, but pretty good. Okay, so here in your step up, I have, they went shopping again. It says use a standard subtraction algorithm to calculate the exact difference between each pair of prices. Okay, now you want to put the greater number on top. So you need to know which is a greater number out of this, what they call a camcorder and a digital camera, which I don't think exists anymore, where you can buy those. But let's see. So what's the greater number, 480 or 134? That's right, 480 is greater. So that goes on top of your algorithm, 480 minus 134. Okay. Now, if we look at this, okay, 0 minus 4 we can't do. So we need to go to our next column, which is the tens column, and say, hey, buddy, I'm going to take one of your tens. So you're going to be left with 7 tens. And I'm going to add your tens to my ones here. So 10 plus 0 is 10. Now we could subtract. We can continue subtracting. 10 minus 4 is 6. 7 minus 3 is 4. And 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay. Now right here we have, looks like an Xbox 360 and the world's most expensive monitor. They do not cost that much anymore. But what is a greater number? We have 271 and 608. What is greater? If you said 608, you are correct. So that goes on top. 608 minus 271. Let's go ahead and subtract. Now 8 minus 1 we can do. That is 7. But 0 take away 7, we can't do that. Okay. So what do we have to do? We have to take from the hundreds column. So that 6 becomes a 5, and 10 plus 0 is 10. And now we could continue subtracting. 10 minus 7 is 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. So the difference between these two products is 337. Okay. I did the step up with you. Okay. I want you to look at the next page. It says use the algorithm to calculate how much the price has dropped. So we didn't know what the product is, but it was 370. Now it's 256. And so it says we need to check, we need to see the difference. Now what our book did for us, which is really nice, is that these numbers, the number on top is already the greater number. because that's the number that it was. If they're trying to sell something, they're not going to raise the price on it. So the new number, the sale price is always going to be less. So they've already set up for us where the top number is you don't have to guess which one is a greater. The top number is already there. Let's do A together. Okay, we got 370 minus 256. Okay. Now I can look already right away. 0 minus 6 is I cannot do. Okay, I know I can't do that. So I have to go to the tens column here. Take away one of those tens. So 7 tens becomes 6 tens. Okay, and then those tens, how many ones are in it? There are 10 ones in that 10 that I took. So 10 plus 0 is 10. Now we could continue subtracting. 10 minus 6 is 4. 6 minus 5 is 1. And 3 minus 2 is 1. So the price dropped $114. Okay, whatever they were selling, that's a pretty good savings. So I would buy it definitely, whatever it is. Okay, I did the first one for you. Go ahead and do the rest, B, C, D, E, and F. Now, like I said, they've already set up our numbers for us to put the top number as being the greatest. You just want to make sure that you're writing your numbers in the correct column. Okay, there's C will be tricky for you, but maybe not. F might be tricky for you, but maybe not. Okay, because I'm noticing there are 3 numbers up here, but there's only 2 numbers here. So how would you write that down? Okay. If you have any questions, boys and girls, let me switch cameras here. If you have any questions, go ahead and make sure you ask your teacher about it. But this is a pretty fun lesson, subtracting across zeros. All right, boys and girls, thanks a lot.